time like this, people are starved for news.
Warm and dry here. There is food, and evacuees can take advantage of telephones and electricity, luxuries the rest of
the city has now lost.
It hasn't been all bad. I'm glad we had a place to come to. And
the fires that destroyed 3 blocks of downtown Grand Forks have now been extinguished. Officials have cut off all power to downtown. Electrical shorts are believed to have caused the fires. For many who have been victimized by this catastrophe, the worst part is the uncertainty. How bad is the damage back home? When will it be safe to return? Fully inaccurate. And even when the river does finally stop rising, water levels are expected to drop very slowly, releasing the city of Grand Forks only a little at a time.
Nothing going to crash. The whole downtown area, I believe they said when they were trying to fight the fire, has 3 to 4 feet of water in it. Obviously made it very good to fire in the first place.
You could see a bridge, just a quick shot of it a little bit earlier. Maybe they'll get back to it. That is the Sorley Bridge connecting the downtown areas of Grand Forks and East Grand Forks. Again, you can't tell where the streets are in Grand Forks.
Yeah, we're mostly seeing, now we're seeing this whole downtown area almost coming around the same view, but a little bit higher up. As you swing back around, you may be able to see across the river to East Grand Forks.
A lot of homeowners
we didn't shoot this ourselves, so we don't know what's all on it, but it's a continuous feed that we believe, I don't know who went on the helicopter, whether it was CNN, but then they have to share that video. That bridge at the very top of the screen in the middle is the bridge that links East Grand Forks and Grand Forks is downtown, the Sorley Bridge.
And also a railroad bridge. A lot of people ride, bike, and walk across that.
I know they've given the downtown and Grand Forks a lot of attention, especially the national media, but some of the pictures we saw on Friday of East Grand Forks as downtown, as far as flooding, seems like they may have taken on even more water in their downtown district.
So we're thinking maximum of 250 that are still trying to hold out and keep their homes dry.
What's on your agenda and the rest of East Grand Forks' agenda for the next 24, 48 hours and beyond?
Planning a new city is basically what it is. We have to get our businesses back online. We have to get our people back in their homes. It's not a short-term process. It's going to be a long-term.
Okay, that's it. Thank you very much.
Some of the rural areas, outlying areas, it looks like, too, and the business district as well, the industrial district, I should say, in East Grand Forks. It's hard to tell one city from the next because of all of the flooding.
We're not used to this perspective, for one thing, or all the water that covers the streets and obscures some of the landmarks that we might know from the ground.
That is RDO Foods, we've been told, that we just flew overhead here.
And that looks like it would be a river channel, but I believe that's the road, actually, isn't it?
Usually the tree lines mark a river, but I believe that might have been a road. Again, houses inundated with water.
Lynn Staus, in a press conference earlier today, said that as far as he could tell, except for the one corner of the city, I believe in the northeast corner, that's fairly high and dry, he figures that at the minimum most areas have 3 feet of water in them. In Sherlock Park, which I hope we get to see, I'm sure we will, he says that it's 12 to 15 feet deep. He believed that some houses were beginning to float off their foundations in East Grand Forks. And in other areas, he had probably about 5 houses, or I should say about 5 feet of water. We do have reports from other sources that houses have been tipped off their foundations by the heavy weight of the water and the strong current.
Apparently, East Grand Forks Senior High coming up to your left of the screen, on the top.
Oh, up on the top.
On the
of the
top,
screen.
okay.
Now, if I remember correctly, and it's so hard to go back because of all the information we've had, but at one point that was the staging area for some of the refugees, but now a little, probably too much water there to know that's moved from that area now.
Just flew over Highway 220 north in East Grand Forks.
And that has to be, you never pay attention when you drive somewhere all the time how many miles that is from the river, but Highway 220 is not real close to the river.
No.
And even on that side of the river, at one point they thought things west of 220 might be okay, but only a few things above water there.
Now we're getting close to the east end of town here.
the East Grand Forks City Hall is sort of set up temporary location in the Comfort Inn. I believe that must be on the west end of town. We're coming up on the backside of the Pomida building, and it looks like its parking lots are pretty full, but the area just to its south is looks dry. Maybe
here's
they built
Highway
in the wrong
2.
spot, yeah.
This is Highway 2, and the Comfort Inn, I believe, is somewhere right around in this vicinity.
And this area, obviously, because we are quite a ways from the river, there's not, you can tell the water's not incredibly deep, but it doesn't take a lot of water next to your building before it starts seeping in. So, and now we're heading into the more residential area of the city of East Grand Forks, and you see some of those houses just leaving the bottom of the screen. It was at least halfway up the side of their first floor.
It appears to be. Is that? I'm trying to remember if that's Sacred Heart High School there. Sacred Heart School. Right on the bottom, Sacred Heart Church, I believe, East Grand Forks Sacred Heart.
And these,
Again,
there's
the Sorley
bridge again, there's the Blue Moose, which it's unbelievably high. It appeared in a normal day to have looked at Blue Moose to think that that restaurant might one day have flooded would have seemed impossible, but it has a lot of water up next to it. And now we're crossing over again. We've seen some of this from a different angle when we first started the show back into the downtown area.
Yeah, there's the police station on the bottom, the triangular building you see there.
And that's where the Emergency Operations Center was originally set up. And they put it in the basement, and not too concerned. They knew that the flood was going to be bad, but that area was protected by dikes. But by Friday night, the water was coming back through the storm sewer, and they had to move. And it looks like a good thing they did, only the parking lot there dry.
Again, Coast Guard watercraft going through the areas. There's Central High School, the large building you see there.
And the federal building is right next to the burn area. That taller building to the right is the federal building. Certainly a lot of records that were in danger there. Obviously, a lot of businesses and their own records are underwater, either underwater or burned.
That's right. The Grand Forks Herald, in spite of all of the tragedy there, their newsroom was burned. They had lost some valuable archives, and they did put out a paper today. They set up a mini newsroom up in Manville, North Dakota, and they printed the paper in St. Paul, Minnesota, and we did get a copy of that paper today. So it's amazing what people will do.
I mean, and you can tell by the way the light is hitting the water just how fast the water is moving through that area, too. I'm sure it's taking a lot of things with it as it goes. There's going to be an amazing amount of silt and sewage and everything else that has bubbled back up through the sanitation system, too, and the water that's going to be left behind.
And apparently the Bank of North Dakota, on the North Dakota side, Bank of North Dakota is going to help cost of fighting the flood, or they're being tapped to help pay the cost of fighting the flood. Today, the State Industrial Commission approved $25 million in loans from the bank, and Governor Schaefer says it should provide some upfront cash for paying expenses to fight the flood. And again, they are asking President Clinton for more federal aid to the area once the water recedes. The true story will come out as far as damages in the region. And President Clinton, as we said, is coming to the greater Grand Forks area to get a first-hand look at the damage, and he will get quite a tour, as you see here. Yeah, this is Lincoln Drive area. This was the area that
right
first.
Up to the top of the house.
That's right. This was one of the areas first evacuated when the flood broke out here in Grand Forks.
Lincoln School went by very quickly. I'm assuming this may be the golf course then, is that correct? Yeah. The golf course filled up with water and started to spill over to the north into the Lincoln Park area about Friday, or was that Thursday? It's too hard to remember. We like to deal in facts here, but it's too hard to keep track of everything that happened in the chronology. We'll sit back someday and get a chance to go over it all and figure out what day it was, but it was spread out to the north and started to breach dikes.
I believe it was Thursday.
Yeah, but in that area, because they had that mandatory evacuation Thursday afternoon. And, you know, I can't even tell.
You're getting a look at your own home here.
Oh, we are, aren't we?
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
to your right.
Just went by.
Just went by it to the right.
And condominiums, the townhomes just to the south of that were supposed to be high and dry, and so were we. Someday maybe when we're off the air, I'll go back and stop that and look. Maybe I won't. I don't know if I want to see it till...
I think a lot of people they're probably fighting to turn away from the television if they are watching and live in the area and they're in one of the shelters. I understand a lot of people have been glued to the set whenever we do show the overhead shots of the flooding in Grand Forks. People want to see, but they don't want to see.
And I know viewers who are watching in other areas through our satellite uplink to Bismarck and Minot probably